The next topic that we will start today is the one of the type of your bottom up parsing. Okay. What is your bottom up parsing types? The different types of bottom up parsing are, see, first is your SLR one. Okay. No, first what we will study? Shift reduce. First we will study your shift reduce parser. Okay. Then we will go for your operator precedence parser. Okay. Then we will go for your LR parser. Okay. Under your LR parser, we will study three types, that is your SLR 1, LALR 1, this I have already told you in your previous lectures, and CLR 1. Okay. So, today we are going to start with your shift reduce parser. Okay. Today we are going to start with the shift reduce parser. Okay. So, shift reduce parser means first we have to understand what is the constituents of your shift reduce parser. First, shift reduce parser means it will definitely have a parser program. Okay. And a string will be given to parse, that means where the string will be stored, it will be stored in an input tape. Okay. Let us say it is ID plus ID dollar. Why I have written dollar? I will explain you in the upcoming examples. So, what is this? This is your input tape. What is this? This is your shift reduce parser. Okay. Then where it will be stored? Now, this is connected. This will operate two ways, that is a read and write, or both. Okay. Then it is connected with the stack. And what will be on the stack top? Dollar will be there. Okay. And what is this dollar? That means this shift reduce parser will be connected to your stack also. Now, what is this dollar? Dollar is nothing, actually dollar is a end marker. Dollar is your end marker. If it is attached to a context free grammar, then it will end with a starting symbol, then we will understand that we have reached at the successful parser. Okay. Then if you are using it with the input string, that means the string is complete. Once we reach at dollar, that means the no more element of the string is left to be processed. Okay. That is why we are doing this. So, how many actions will be there? Two actions will be there for your shift reduce parser. One action is your shift, another action is your reduce. Two types of actions will be there. So, what is a shift reduce parser actually? Okay. It is a general purpose bottom up parsing technique, bottom up parsing technique. Okay. In which the parser will go on, okay, in which the parser will go on shifting the input string into the stack, okay, into the stack until a handle is found or a handle appears on the top of the stack. Okay. So what will happen next? That's why I have already explained you in my previous video. Bottom up parsing moves around your handle. So it's a very important concept in your bottom up parsing. Okay. Now what will happen? After finding out the handle, the parser performs reduce action. How to perform the reduce action? I have already explained in your handle in the previous lecture. Okay. So now see, in this step what it will perform? It will perform your shift operation. Here what it will perform? Your reduce operation. So what is the name of the parser? Shift reduce parser. That means two type of actions will be performed. One is the shifting, and when you find a handle on the top of the string, what you will get? You will reduce it by the non-terminal on the left hand side of the production. Okay. So what it will do? The next is reduce the handle which appears in the rightmost part of the stack. Then it will check for the input string, then it is accepted, then successful parsing. That means if you are able to reach, that means what? If you are able to reach at the starting symbol and dollar in case of your string, then we call it as the string is accepted. String is accepted by the parser. Okay. String is accepted by the parser. Else what it will show? It will show a error. Okay. Now we will take an example and we will see how we execute your shift reduce parser. Okay. Okay. Now see, we will take an example. We will take an example. What is the example? See, example is E tends to E plus E. Okay. E tends to E star E. E tends to bracketed E. Okay. E tends to ID. ID is a terminal, short form for your identifier. Okay. Then what is the input string given to us? The input string given to us is ID star ID plus ID, that too bracketed. Okay. It is given like this, ID star ID, and it is in bracket. Now what we will do? We will see how a shift reduce parser basically operates. Okay. So what it will take? Now see, it will first take a stack. Okay. Then input string. Okay. Then the third one is your action. What action? I have already told you, shift reduce parser has two types of actions. One is your shift action, another one is your reduce action. Okay. Now see what to do, how we will start. Okay. Now see, already I have told you while explaining the concept that first what we will have on the stack top, we will have your dollar. Stack top will contain your dollar. Input string, what is the input string given to us? ID star ID plus ID, and in the input string I have told you dollar acts as the end marker. So at the end we will put a dollar. Okay. Now what I have explained, the parser will keep on shifting the input string into the stack until it finds a handle on the stack top. Once it will find a handle, then what it will do? It will perform your reduce action. How it will do? Now see. Okay, the very first step, what it will do? It will shift. What it will shift? It will shift your ID. Okay, it will shift your ID. So, what I will get over here? $ID. Now, ID is shifted over here. So, what will remain over here? Star bracketed ID plus ID and dollar. Okay. Now, handle concept I have told, we have to look at the production. See, E tends to ID, a production is there. When we have a production E tends to ID, that means ID over here is a handle. So, what it will do? It will reduce now. So, it will reduce by which production? It will reduce by reduce E tends to ID. Okay. Now, in place of ID, what I will write? E. Left hand side production will be written. So, now star ID plus ID dollar. Then again what it will do? It will shift. What it will shift? It will shift your star. Okay. Dollar E star. Okay. Now, star is not a handle. Why? We don't have any production for star only. So, what will remain over here? ID plus ID dollar. Okay. Again what it will do? It will shift. What it will shift? It will shift your opening bracket. Okay. Then dollar E star opening bracket. Okay. Then what will remain over here? ID plus ID and closing bracket and dollar. Okay. Then what it will do? It will perform, again bracket is also not a handle. So, it will again shift your ID. Okay. It will shift your ID. So, what I will get over here? Dollar E star opening bracket and ID. Now, ID is again a handle. So, what it will do? Now, it will remain over here plus ID bracket dollar. Then it will perform reduce E tends to ID. Okay. So, here what I will write? Dollar E star bracket, then ID will be reduced by E. Okay. Then what is here? Plus ID bracket dollar. Then shift plus. So, dollar E star dollar, sorry, bracket E, then plus. Now, plus is not a handle. So, no issues. Then again what it will do? It will shift. What it will shift? It will shift your ID. Okay. Then dollar E star E plus ID. Now, ID is a handle. Okay. No. So, what it will do now? Again the same, reduce E tends to ID. So, dollar E star E plus E, closing bracket dollar. Now, two things can be done. This one we will again we will explain in one more example. Now, see what I am getting, E plus E on the stack top. Now, we are having a production E tends to E plus E. So, what we will do? We will replace it because this is a handle. So, what we will do? Reduce E tends to E plus E. Okay. So, dollar. So, what we will get here? Dollar E star E. Okay. Now, closing bracket is there, dollar is there. So, what you have to do? Shift closing bracket. Okay. Dollar E star E closing bracket, then dollar. Okay. Now, again bracketed E is a handle because we are having a production E tends to bracketed E. Okay. So, reduce E tends to bracketed E. Okay. So, what I will get over here? Dollar E star E. Now, see, no more string is there, no more element of the string is there, dollar. That means the string has completely passed. Now, if I get a starting symbol over here, then I can say the string is accepted. Okay. Now, again we have a production E tends to E star E. So, reduce it. Reduce E tends to E star E. So, what I got? Dollar. Next step what I will get? Dollar and E. Here it is dollar. That means what? it is accepted. Okay, as we are able to reach at the end marker, okay, and the stack top here we are getting your starting symbol, so we can say that the string is accepted. Okay, but we have some exceptions also, because we have different types of bottom up parsing, so we have to see the exceptions also. Okay, so in case of shift reduce parser, okay, conflicts may occur. Conflicts may occur means what? A stage will appear where the compiler will get confused either to shift or to reduce the element. Okay, this one. So, here what we studied, and what are these conflicts? We can have shift conflict. Okay, we can have shift reduce conflict. We can have reduce conflict. Okay, so in the next lecture we will be studying about the conflicts and what will be the consequence of these conflicts. Okay, that's all for this lecture. Please do subscribe the channel for further updates. Thank you.